Thank you all for joining us and welcome. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Indiana, Pennsylvania. And welcome to the fellowship members from Ligonier who are joining us on Sundays. Thank you all so much for being with us. It is wonderful to have you. A few announcements before we begin. Okay, one big announcement before we begin is that my ordination, the ordination that you all from Indiana here voted on back in January, is going to be happening this Saturday, May 2nd. Obviously not in the church, it will be online. And you will be getting a Zoom link for that. So look for that on Monday. You'll get a special email. And there's a few things to just note. We'll open the Zoom room at 2 p.m. for fellowship and gathering. We will begin the service at 2:30 p.m. That will begin fairly promptly. So, go ahead and come in a few minutes early, get yourself settled. The really exciting thing about this is that you can bring coffee to the sanctuary because it will be the sanctuary of your home. So bring whatever snacks and refreshments you would like and join us by 2:30 on Saturday. The children and youth will be discussing what makes a minister and what the role of a minister is on Tuesday in their noon RE Zoom. So for those of you who are parents or who are the children yourselves here, make sure that you make it to the RE Zoom at noon on Tuesday. Penny and I will be talking with both of you, and those words, those thoughts from our children will go into our children's charge to the minister, which is part of the ordination process. Also, for adults, children, families, whoever would like, please go ahead and send a photo of yourself to minister@firstuu-indianapa.org on Wednesday or before, along with a few words of blessing. Since we aren't able to do a laying on of hands, we'll be doing a slideshow for a blessing of the ministry in its place. So please do get those in as soon as you think of it, maybe even during coffee hour today. We will send a reminder email tomorrow. So if you didn't write all of that down, or it's hard for you to remember all the things you need to do, don't worry, we'll have it. So good morning, friends. It is wonderful to welcome you here to our online space. If this is your first time tuning in, I know it is for a couple of folks, it's not for a lot of you. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel in order to join us for daily content. A few times a week, we post meditations, songs, poetry, other things to get you through the week between Sunday to Sunday. And we also stream our services live on YouTube for those who don't have accessibility to Zoom. Just search for Pastor Elizabeth Mount on YouTube and you'll find the channel. If you're comfortable here in the Zoom room, I know many of you keep your camera on throughout the service. It really helps us to feel that we are in fellowship, to see you. But of course, if you need to turn your camera off for any reason, just because you're getting up to get a snack or whatever, that is fine as well. And you will see there's a little speech bubble in the middle of your toolbar, just below the video screen, and it should be labeled chat. It's that little bubble. You can use that feature for greetings, for joys and concerns when we get to those times in our service. And it's also a wonderful way to let me know if, say, the sound goes out suddenly. We've had moments in the past, so use that. And finally, the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Indiana, Pennsylvania is a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association. We are a network of self-governing congregations united in a web of mutuality that creates the denomination. We have neither creed nor doctrine, but teach that individuals have the right and the responsibility to discern and follow their spiritual paths within our common community. We come together to support and assist one another on our personal journeys and to build the beloved community together. And I invite you to stay after the service for coffee hour and conversation. I'll open up the microphones again at that time following the service, so folks can check in about how you're feeling, what's on your minds, and anything else that fills your heart today. So now I invite you to take a breath and settle yourself into a spirit of worship. Our call to worship today comes from Margaret Weiss. It's called "The Church Has Left the Building." The church is not a place, it is a people. The church is not a steeple above the tree line, a building above the street. Rather, it is a people proclaiming to the world that we are here for the work of healing and justice. The church is not walls built stone upon stone, board upon board, held together by mortar. It is person linked with person, linked with person. All ages and genders and abilities, a community built on the foundation of reason, faith, and love. The church is not just a set of doors open on Sunday morning, but the commitment day after day and moment after moment of our hearts creaking open the doors of welcome to the possibility of new experience and radical welcome. The church is not simply a building, a steeple, a pew. The church is the gathering together of all the people and experiences and fear and love and sadness and hope in our resilient hearts, gathering however we can to say to the world, welcome, come in, lay down your heartache and pick up hope and love. For the church is us, each and every one of us together, a beacon of hope to this world that so sorely needs it. And now, if you have a chalice or a candle, you may wish to light the flame. And you can type "the flame is lit" in wherever you are in your chat bar. We kindle this flame. We kindle this flame, hoping it shall always be lit as a reminder of the liberatory spirit burning through the ages, which fills our hearts and strengthens our communities. So many places that the chalice is lit. It's lovely to see you all here today. Our hymn is number 109 from Singing the Living Tradition, sung by Pat Humphreys of Emma's Revolution. This one is not set up with lyrics as a hymn, so I will be putting the lyrics in the chat bar if you would like to sing along. I am not getting sound from that. Are you all getting sound? All right. Let me try doing it directly from YouTube and see if we can fix that real quick. Hopefully. Let's see.
As we go marching, marching, the beauty of the day. A million darkened kitchens, 1,000 logs gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing, red and roses, red and roses. We go marching, marching, we battle to for men, for they are women's children. Let the mothers speak again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. Go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing, their ancient call for bread, small art and love and beauty, their trudging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. we go marching, marching. People hear our call, for the rising of the women means the rising of us all. No more the drudge and idler, tend and toil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses, bread and roses, bread and roses. Ah, da, 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 da.
Right. Thank you all. So today, our whole theme is how we get free together, or not at all. How we care for one another. How we find one another in need and offer help and hope and new ways of being. And so Penny Vick has a story for us, A Time for All Ages. It's called Listen to the Wind, and it's the story of Greg Mortensen. Some of you as adults may have read the book 3 Cups of Tea. This is a version of that story.
Good morning. I'm glad you're all here with us today. Today, I'm going to read a story about a man that got lost and was sick and needed help, and how a village found him and helped him, and how in return he helped them, and then they helped each other working together. The book is Listen to the Wind, the story of Dr. Greg and 3 Cups of Tea. We are the children of Korfi. We live in a village in the mountains of Pakistan. Our families grow and gather the food we eat. Our mothers weave and sew the clothes we wear. We make our own games and we make our own toys. We read our books and we write with our pencils. We study in the school that we helped build. Before our school was built, we had lessons outside. We wrote with sticks on the ground. That was before a stranger stumbled into our village. He was cold, hungry, and sick. We gave him tea and food and a bed near the fire. He told us his name was Greg Mortensen and that he was a nurse. He had come from the United States to climb our mountains, but he had lost his way. As he grew stronger, he helped to heal our sick. We called him Dr. Greg. Sometimes he sat outside and helped us with our lessons. He knew that our teacher came just 3 times a week, but we still studied every day. When Dr. Greg was well enough to go home, he asked Haji Ali, our wisest man, to help him think of something special he could do for Korfi. Haji Ali answered Dr. Greg with a puzzle. Listen to the wind, he said. Dr. Greg closed his eyes. From above the village on high, flat ground where we sat at our lessons, the wind carried our voices down the path. Dr. Greg heard our voices. He felt the wind blow cold against his face, and he understood. Korfi needed a school. Dr. Greg promised to come back and help us build one. We watched him walk away until he disappeared into the folds of the mountain. 1 year later, we saw a man walking on the path far below our village. It was Dr. Greg. We all ran to meet him. In Skardu, the nearest big town, he had collected the lumber, cement, and tools that we would need to build our school. But high above the Braldu River, we had only a single cable with a small box that could carry a person to our mountain from the next one. There was no bridge. Without a bridge, no one could bring the heavy loads of building supplies to Corfy. So everyone worked together to build a bridge from our mountain all the way to the mountain on the other side of the river. Many months later, Dr. Greg and our fathers and friends crossed the strong new bridge carrying the supplies we needed to build our school. They continued to climb until they reached the place where we had piled a mountain of stones cut from our own mountains. Haji Ali marked the exact spot where our school was to stand. Our mothers carried water to mix the cement. The men began to lay the stones for our classroom walls. With our small fingers, we wedged tiny slivers of stones into the cement to make the walls stronger. Our school grew each day up from the high, flat ground where we used to write with our sticks. Finally, the men attached the roof. They asked Dr. Greg to hammer in the last nail. Our school was finished. It was time to celebrate. Our Imam, Shirtaki, our wise man, Haji Ali, our teacher Hussein, Dr. Greg, who kept his promise, Julia, the librarian who brought our books, the craftsmen, the worksmen, the porters, the grown-ups of Corfy, the children of Corfy, and even the yaks and the does and the goats and the sheep all marched together to our new school. Shirtaki blessed the building. We ran into our school with Hussein, who now would come to teach us every day. We are the children of Corfy. We live in a village in the mountains of Pakistan. We write in Urdu and English. We add and subtract. We read our books and explore our maps. We are learning in the school that we helped to build. We're the children of Corfy. Can you hear our voices? Listen to the wind. So this is just a little bit of background about the story. This is Pakistan is a country in Asia, and Baltistan is a region of Pakistan. Corfy is a little village there. And here are all the children of Corfy, and as well as Dr. Greg, or as they called him, Dr. Greg. This is Haji Ali, the wise man who told Greg to listen to the wind. And here is the bridge that was built across the Bardaloo River. It is 284 feet across and 60 feet above the water. The Corfy men carried heavy supplies 18 miles to the building site. The man in the very front of this line is Shirtaki, the village prayer leader and spiritual guide, or imam. Carrying supplies was a very special gesture from Shirtaki because traditional Balti imams do not take part in physical tasks. This is a picture of some of the men and children working on the walls of Corfy School. And there it is, the finished school. And this is seen from the back of it. Many schools have been built like Corfy. Dr. Greg helped build and oversee 131 more schools with 58,000 children getting education, many of them being girls' schools. In each of these communities where Dr. Greg goes to build schools, it requires a lot of help, and the community helps the planning with the materials and the labor. They work together.
And so it is. They work together. So if you would like to take a moment now to type a blessing for one another, this is the moment in our time together where we greet one another, adults, children, people of all genders. You can even greet each other's yaks if you would like. Peace be with you and blessings to all. Namaste and bright blessings. It is wonderful to be together with each and every one of you, seeing faces, hearing voices. This is a way we reconnect. Blessed be. So today's words and music for centering come from Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout, who is the music director at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I invite you to listen to his words carefully, and then if you would like to type your joys and concerns while the music plays, you are most welcome to do so.
One of the most powerful ways the church offers us an opportunity to be one with another is through the power of music. David Frazier wrote a song he calls "I Need You to Survive." And I'd like to say that as we endeavor to be a community standing together, affirming the worth and dignity of Black lives, we must enter the songs of Black lives with humility, curiosity, and first, we must endeavor consciously to resist the temptation to colonize it with the changes that make us more comfortable inside of it. If we can be present to Black faith and Black faiths, then in solidarity we might enter into the blessed relationship that allows us to deserve to be called allies. In this sense, sing this song with me with curiosity, with humility, and with joined faith. I need you. You need me. Sing. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. Listen, I pray for you, you pray for me. I love you, I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you, I need you to. Let's sing together. I pray, you pray for me. I love you, I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you, I need you to survive. I pray for you, you pray for me. I love, I love, I love, I need, I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you, I need to survive. You pray for me. I love you, I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words. Sing it with me. Tell somebody else, you are important to me. You are important to me. Tell two more people, you are important to me. One more time, you are important to me. I need you to survive.
And so it is. We are together in prayerful contemplation. And now please join me in a spirit of prayer or meditation. Today, we bring our gratitude that Josiah's cousin seems to be recovered from the coronavirus, that there is creativity and love and ways of being together that are so blessed, even in this time when we are not present, when we are each in our own homes, and yet together in spirit, together on Zoom. So, spirit of life and of love, let us hold tight to the gratitude that we are still able to be with one another, that life and love are blossoming. And let us hold space with one another for the depth of smile. For we have lost Carolyn Kerr, a member of this congregation whose son is buried in our community, in our memorial garden, memorialized there, who passed away this last week from the coronavirus. She was an important part of this community. Her partner, Pat, was the postmistress for Indiana, a volunteer office manager at the church for several years. And Carolyn was a brilliant community activist who helped to make change in this community. And this community was enriched by her life and is deeply saddened by her departure from it. So let us hold room in our hearts and compassion for all of those who are close to Carolyn, who remember her, or whose lives were touched by her work, even if you did not ever meet her. We also hold space in our hearts for the little disappointments, the changes that are difficult for us. Events have been delayed, postponed, made other than they were to have been. Nana's nephew was to be married with family and friends in attendance last week. Instead, they hope to gather in October. And so for all those things which are just different, may we hold compassion for ourselves. It is all right to be disappointed, even if life is okay, because it is not the same, and there is grief in that. And so for all the blessings of our lives, we hold room for gratitude. We hold room for joy, for the beauty of the earth, the changing seasons, and the flowing gift of life. We give thanks. In times of so many fragile hearts and tender sorrows, may we find comfort and strength in one another, and may our hearts be healed. May we be filled with peace. Amen. And now we continue with the time in our service that we usually call the UU moment. And this time, I want to talk a little bit about the hymn that we sang or heard earlier, Bread and Roses. Because it's an interesting thing to have in a hymnal. It's a justice anthem. It's not a supplication to God. It's not an alleluia. What it is a poem that is a reminder to one another of the connections we share and of the need for justice in this world, not the next. It is in the depths of our humanist faith and in Unitarian Universalism's rootedness in labor movements, in movements for change, in a critical reading of the Bible that understands Jesus as a teacher and as a commentator on injustice, not solely as a guide to a personal spiritual self, but as a guide to how we act in community with one another. So Bread and Roses earns its rightful place in our hymnal, not in spite of being a labor song, but because of it. Because our 7 principles teach us that each and every person has worth and dignity and the right to find joy and fulfillment and spiritual and creative selfhood in a community with one another. And so knowing that, I invite you to join with me as we speak together our Unitarian Universalist 7 principles. I will share them on the screen. These are a slightly simplified version so that they will fit on our screen. Our congregation's covenant to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person, to practice justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, accept one another, and encourage spiritual growth, support the freedom to search for what is true and right in life, ensure all have a vote about matters that concern them, work for a peaceful, fair, and free world, and care for planet Earth, the home we share with all living things. And now we come to the time in our service where we make an offering to the work which I usually say is happening within and beyond these walls, but really now it's mostly beyond these walls. Each and every week, 1/4 of your donations, 1 average plate per month, is given to another community organization. This month, it is the Care Center of Indiana. And I really encourage you to give as you can for the important work which is happening. This congregation is supporting other congregations who need worship elements. We are able to make sure that our congregants and friends of the church are being supported if they have material needs in this time. And we're able to keep our worships running and keep one another connected all thanks to the generous donations that you all continue to make, because you know that the church is not a one-way flow, but a community network. And those who can are giving sometimes even more than they have been giving. And those who cannot, I hope, are feeling no shame about that. You need to take care of yourselves because you, as a human being, are important. So give of your treasure as you can. And if you need any material help, please do be in contact with the church. We are able to support you as you have supported us.
Blessed be the gifts, blessed be the gifts, the ones we give and those that you reveal. Help us use our gifts, our varied simple gifts, to show our love and help our world to heal. Revive our tired minds, make our hearts more just and kind. Give us souls that rally to the task. Fight for justice, help us teach, help us act and care and reach out to others with a hand for them to clasp.
Our homily this morning is called "We Get Free Together," or "Not at All." And I feel like this is a core message of Unitarian Universalism, one that I really want us to think about as something that is different from many religious paths and which defines us. For we are a community of covenant. I feel like I say this a lot, but we are a community that is not bound together by creed, which means that what binds us are the agreements that we make with one another, the choices we make for our behavior, the ways that we want to be in this world right here. We are not a people who wait for salvation, who believe that just one person's salvation is in our control. We believe in a salvation that is in this life. We believe that we can liberate this world, that we can help one another, that we can make a better place to be, and that saves one another here and now. This is the week before May Day, Labor Day. It's the International Day of the Workers. And Unitarian Universalism has a long and storied history with labor rights, with activism. As we went through the early elements of our service, you may have noticed, oh, this is a service about justice. Wait, maybe it's a service about charity. Maybe it's a service about people far away or here, about Black lives, about labor. It's a service about all of those things, for we are all interconnected, interdependent. There is no way to understand only one justice fight as important. Justice means all of us make it. For all of us need all of us to make it. My friend Teresa Soto taught me that. Teresa is a minister out in Oakland, California. And Teresa is also Latinx and non-binary and disabled, and quite frankly, just hosts a whole lot of ways of moving in the world that mean that Teresa's life is often more difficult than I experience or would necessarily imagine. And what they have said is core to their ministry and has become core to mine as well, is all of us need all of us to make it. And sometimes that looks like helping on a one-to-one level. More often, that means noticing what is going on in the world and noticing how it is more complex for people who are marginalized in our current society. Because what's going on right now is a pandemic. It's a disease. Viruses are not very smart. They don't look at you and decide that they like you better than another person. They don't look inside your cells and think about how much melanin you have. Viruses just infect people if you happen to be there. But there are so many other things going on that make it more complicated than that. Because if you've been following the news, death rates are much higher for Black Americans than for white Americans right now. And that's not because of anything inherent. It's not because of anybody's DNA. It's not because of anybody's skin color. It's because there is a complex set of circumstances in this society where we live right now that says that because of historic wealth, Black Americans are more likely to be essential workers in the kinds of jobs that are not getting priority for personal protective equipment. Nursing assistants, nursing home workers, grocery store workers, not the doctors, the nurses necessarily, but the workers who are right on those front lines, just as much in contact, but less noticed, less often given what they need in order to thrive and survive well in their jobs. And then Black Americans are less likely to have access to healthcare, less likely to have had preventative care, and more likely to have underlying conditions because of a lack of childhood necessities and healthcare in their earlier lives. And Black Americans are more likely to be turned away from hospitals or to be cared for improperly for the same diseases and the same presentations as white Americans. Prejudice on prejudice on prejudice piles up. Right now in this time, what we can be doing is not much for some of us, not the running out into the streets and protesting that we might like to do. Please don't do that. Don't breathe on people. It's a terrible idea. But noticing what is going on and noticing the complexity and talking about it with the people you see on Zoom, with the people you're talking with on Facebook or email or phone calls, just noticing helps, because people have biases, and people who notice their biases are less likely to act them out on others. So one way that we can always help is to just say, hey, have you noticed? Because we get free together, or not at all. Because if the people who are working at the grocery stores are not fully protected, then you who shop in the grocery stores are more likely to get sick. Because if elders who are being cared for in nursing homes start to get sick, then you can't visit your grandmother's, grandfather's parents. It all stays interconnected because we all live on the same planet. Schools as far away as in Pakistan can be influenced and built by people who are from the United States, and the children who grew up in those schools, well, their actions as they grow, the books they write, the things they do, the ways that they change their country, it comes back to us. It determines whether or not we have wars, how we share food and medical supplies in times of need. So that is what I mean when I say we get free together or not at all. Even if we are each in our homes feeling alone, if we tug on that thread, the web of interdependence, the whole web shakes. We can make the changes. We can bring salvation to one another in this life. The ways that we act, the ways that we covenant and agree with one another to be helpful. That is what we can do to become liberated from our assumptions and prejudices, to help ourselves get free, and to make sure that everyone else does as well. When I think back on the song Bread and Roses, the core of that song, again, is about getting free together. It's a women's song. It's not a song only about women or about their labor, but about knowing that when a woman gets free, she brings along a family. When we get free, we bring along all those in our community whose freedom is connected to ours. And we need not to start in Maslow's hierarchy down at those physical needs, just bread, maybe a roof over our heads, then medical care. We need all of it. We need the creativity that helps us to thrive. We need songs. We need beauty. My friend Han Cole, who is a social scientist and a researcher, was recently talking about this. And Han said, it is so interesting that one of the first labor strikes in American history by African American slaves was to win as the first point of their demands the right to dance. More important than the right to sleep, the right to rest, was the right to join together in song and community spirit, to be creative together, to dance. We need it all, bread and roses. We need the beauty of life that makes it meaningful in order to thrive and in order to survive. Again and again, I am reminded that it is all connected. So we get free together, or we do not. Because as long as even one person worries for their survival because the system is stacked unfairly, all of us must live in the fear that someday we will be the ones seen as disposable. If we live in a society where not everyone's voting rights are protected, then we must live with the fear that someday we will be the ones unable and not allowed to have a voice in what we think is important. So each and every one of you, take a moment sometime in the next week or so. Take a moment just to think, where are the roses where I am? What are the things that are helping me and all those connected to me to thrive? I hope you have bread, but I insist that you have roses too. Blessed be. Our closing hymn is by Shoshana Jedwab. It's called Where You Go, and it's a repeated chant. So once you have heard it through once, you should be able to continue and to sing along. The words come from the book of Ruth. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go, and your people shall be my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people, and your divine, my divine.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie, beloved. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, beloved. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, refugee. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, refugee. Where you go, I will go. And where you lie, I will lie, refugee. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, refugee. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people Mother Earth. Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie. Mother Earth. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie. Mother Earth. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, children. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, where you go, I will go, children. Where you go, I will go. And where you lie, I will lie, children. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, children. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, ancestors. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, ancestors. Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie, ancestors. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, ancestors. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine.
Thank you so much. To finish, we will extinguish our chalice flame. You may know the words, but just in case, we'll have Faye extinguish the chalice.
We extinguish our chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Namaste.
And blessings to you one and all. May your week have bread enough, roses enough, spirit and connection and love and justice enough. Where you go, I will go, and we shall continue the work of this congregation beyond our walls every day of our lives. For this is the work of the church. Blessed be. please do stay for coffee hour if you'd like. If you are from Ligonier, go ahead and type Ligonier into the chat so that I can move you to the Ligonier breakout room. Go ahead and take yourselves off of mute. If I've muted you, I will be able to take you off of mute in just a moment.
Good to see you, Ligonier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again.
Yeah, you were 39% of our group today. We gotta count
Been like a true former banker.
Keep
Yeah, right.
Yay. Hello, Michaelina.
Oh, good to see you, Michaelina.
Hi, Michaelina. Hi, Kathy.
Hello, how are you?
Let's see if Patty's still on.
Long time no see.
Yeah, I've been away for a while. Finally got on
There's
the
Becky.
thing.
Oh, yes. Penny, do you want to announce that out loud?
Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. This is Penny. I'm the DRE. We are having a fundraiser on Friday, the day before Pastor Elizabeth's ordination. Lee and I are hosting it. It's a trivia night. And so I put the link in here, how to sign up. Hopefully you can click on that. Maybe I need to fix it. But if you're interested, join us. It's super fun. There's no prizes. It's a donation of $20 per team. There can be two households on a team. So between 8 of you, you could put in $20 or you could put 0. It's just for fun and it'll be a fun night. And hopefully Lee and I'll come up with some good trivia questions. So, if you sign up, then I'll send you an email how to play and the link for the Zoom. And yeah, and if you have any questions, you can chat with me here if you would like. So that's all. I hope you guys will join us Friday.
Penny, how do we sign up?
I just put a link in. Can you click on that link? Maybe not. It is on the Facebook page. I'll send it out. And it was in the newsletter also. So when you click on, only one person on your team needs to sign up. But please, not everybody, just one person, and they make up a team name, which can be changed the night of. It's just so I can send out an email. I guess you could call them your team leader. So it should be fun.
Penny, what's the fundraiser for?
It's just for UU. So all funds taken will be given to the UU, possibly to fill the gap. Yeah.
We are working on that. Thank you. And trivia sounds super fun. I'm sorry that I'm getting ordained the next day, so I can't join you.
It should be only an hour, so.
Yeah, I think I might be a little busy. But next time we'll have to do it twice.
Sure enough.
Oh,
Host isn't.
what are you doing?
Yeah. Do we want to just say goodbye?
Are y'all headed out? Or I guess not really headed out, but headed off of Zoom. It's good having you with us.
I know how to copy things out of the chat room.
Sorry?
I'm trying to copy something out of the chat, the link that Penny just posted out of the chat.
Oh, I usually am just able to highlight it and then copy.
Yeah, that seems to be the normal way you copy anything, but it's not working for me. I'll figure it out.
That's
Okay. All right, folks. Bye.
bye-bye. Good having you with us. Huh. Well, if not, I'm gonna bet that I probably have your email. And I can send that to you as needed. So.
Adios.
I feel like I should have your email, but I'm not sure. George, what is your email?
It's my initials, GR, my last name, so it's GRBIEGER @Gmail.
Okay.
I can find. She said she was going to post it on the Facebook page, so I can find it there.
I'm emailing it to you, I think.
As we speak.
Well, I'm hoping to, but I apparently unsuccessfully copied and was just about to send you all of the lyrics to Bread and Roses instead, which would be different from what you asked for.
Well, thanks anyhow.
Huh. Well, let me see if I can do that, but it will definitely be on Facebook as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll say it. Thanks for the service this morning. I really appreciated the homily in particular.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah.